My name is Isla. I live in a small weathered house near the sea. The town is quiet, nestled between gentle hills and the ever-changing ocean. People here are kind. They smile when they pass, wave when they drive by, and always ask about your day. I work at a little bakery on the main street. It's not big, but it's warm, full of the smell of sugar, butter, and cinnamon. I bake bread in the early mornings, cakes in the afternoons, and cookies whenever I feel like spreading a little joy. Each morning, the bakery comes alive with the scent of vanilla and the sound of laughter. Children press their noses against the glass, pointing at pastries, while old friends sip tea in the corner. And every day after I close up, I walk to the shore. The sea is never the same. Some days it roars and crashes. Other days it whispers and glows. The waves move slowly, and the sky above stretches endlessly in shades of blue and pink. One soft morning, I was sitting by the sea with a cup of tea in my hands. The wind was gentle, just enough to brush my hair across my face. That's when I saw him, a young man walking barefoot on the sand, his hands in his pockets, his eyes scanning the horizon. When he noticed me, he paused and smiled. "Hello," he said. "Hi," I replied. He walked a little closer. "My name is Owen. Are you from here?" I nodded. "Yes, I'm Isla. I live just up the road." Owen sat on the sand, a respectful distance away. We talked. He told me he was new in town, a fisherman with a small boat. He'd just arrived a week ago and was still learning the tides and the winds. He loved the sea, he said. I smiled. "I love the sea too," I said. We looked out at the water. Neither of us spoke for a while, but it wasn't an uncomfortable silence. It felt like we already knew something important about each other. From that day, Owen started coming to the shore often. Sometimes he brought coffee, sometimes I brought cookies. We talked about everything, our lives, our dreams, music, the sky. I liked his laugh. It was soft, like the breeze on a calm day. One morning, after a quiet conversation about favorite childhood books, Owen looked at me and said, "I look forward to seeing you every morning." My heart felt full. "Me too," I whispered. The days turned into weeks. We began walking by the sea in the evenings. Owen told me stories about stars and storms. I told him about the bakery and my childhood. Everything felt gentle and easy. One evening we sat close, watching the sky shift into a canvas of orange and pink. Owen turned to me. "Isla," he said, "I want to tell you something." I looked at him. His eyes were steady. "I think I'm falling in love with you." My heart raced. I reached for his hand. "I think I feel the same," I said. We sat there in silence, fingers entwined, the sea before us. Owen seemed distant. His brow furrowed as he looked at the sky. "There's a storm coming," he said. "I need to bring the boat in early. I'll be careful." I touched his arm. "The sea can be dangerous. Please be safe." He kissed my forehead. "I'll be okay. I've done this before." That was the last time I saw him. The storm hit in the afternoon. The sky darkened. The wind howled. I stood by my window, eyes fixed on the waves. I waited and waited, but Owen didn't return. The next morning, I rushed to the docks. People were whispering. A man, weathered and kind, looked at me. "Did you hear about the small boat? It didn't come back." My voice trembled. "Do you know the name?" He nodded slowly. It was Owen's. My knees buckled. I ran to the shore. The sea had calmed, but there was no sign of him. For days, I searched. I asked everyone. The police found parts of the boat, broken wood, soaked and battered, but not Owen. I stopped going to the bakery. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Nights were the hardest. I dreamed of him, of his smile, of our walks, of his hand in mine. And every morning, I went to the sea. I brought a cup of tea and sat where we used to sit alone. The town was kind. People brought food and flowers. They hugged me. They said his name gently, but their words couldn't bring him back. One evening, I walked to our spot and found a notebook half buried in the sand. The pages were damp around the edges, but inside, they were untouched. I opened it. Owen's handwriting. I recognized it instantly. It read, "If something happens to me, don't be sad. Look at the sea and smile. I was doing what I loved." Tears blurred the words. I held the notebook close to my chest and sobbed. Inside were notes, drawings, even short poems. On the last page, he wrote, "Dear Isla, if I had more time, I would have said this. Thank you for the mornings, the talks, the smiles. You made my life full of light. I love you." That night I cried, but I also smiled. Owen had left me something, a piece of his heart. The next morning, I returned to the bakery. Mrs. Foster, the owner, hugged me tightly. "You don't have to come back yet," she said. "I need to," I replied. "I need to do something with my hands." I baked again. The smell of cinnamon returned. The warmth returned. I felt a small sense of purpose again. The bakery was busy. People smiled when they saw me. Slowly, I started talking again. I even laughed. But the space in my heart, where Owen once lived, remained. It always will. One day, I found a small wooden cabin near the beach. It was old, but sturdy. The windows faced the sea. With Mrs. Foster's help, I cleaned it, painted it pale blue, and filled it with white chairs and wooden
I peek
tables.
into her room. She's asleep. Her breathing is calm. I stand there quietly. "You're going to be just fine," I whisper. Thank you for listening to our story. If you're reading this and your heart is hurting, please remember, real love is never hidden. It's honest, it's kind, it lifts you. You are worthy. You are not alone. Better days will come. Hold on to hope. And never forget, you are deeply, deeply loved.